So the objective today is identifying torso movement as you're doing exercise. I think I've gone over several classes where your elbows move and where your knees move, but today we're focusing not just your hips, but how your whole chest cavity is moving through techniques. And this entire class is going to take place inside the door frame. So ideally, if your door opens all the way, you can use both sides, but if you can't, then you use the door frame one way, and then you turn 90 degrees and use it another way. So hopefully all of you are in a position where you can use a door frame. The reason why I say door frame is you want something that's face height, chest height, elbow height, knee height, hip height. You want everything along the way. So I do not recommend using a standing object which can tip over because you will knock it. Okay, so first things first, let's do the simple drill and then we'll tune it up. So in place, just standing in the door frame, feet together, and just Miyagiri, just simple Miyagiri in place. Obviously, don't wobble. First right leg and left leg, okay? So one count, no speed. Ich, ni, sam, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, kyu, ju. Okay? Now in Kibarashi. Right leg and left leg. Ready? Ich, ni, sam, shi, go, rook, sich, hach, kyu, ju. Okay, now, for point of reference, I want you to pay attention to this door frame right here, right behind me. So it's directly above my head, and there's a red line in the floor, which represents the extension of the door frame. What we want to do when we're doing Miyagiri is use our body, use our stance. And unfortunately, when you're kicking, it's Sagiashidashi, one leg stance, which is still a stance, which means that you still need to figure out how you're using one leg to brace your body to the floor, while your other leg is the attacking instrument. So one of the things you want to focus today is, yes, we're going to use our stance, but I'm going to phrase it this way. I want to keep my torso along the line of this frame of this door for as long as possible. So what I want to do is keep my head and my belt in place. Now, there's going to be a little tilt, okay, just a little bit. What I don't want to do is step all the way inside the door frame, kick, and then step all the way back. Step all the way outside the door frame, kick, and step back. So ideally, you're trying to keep your torso in line where it was and just snap your leg out and back, okay? So let's try that a few times. This is not a speed drill, but your legs have to be fast. If you have slow legs, you're just gonna fall down, okay? So again, right leg first, then left leg. Again, snap out your leg, don't let your torso move. You don't want to do that, okay? Try to keep in line, okay? Right leg first, ready? Ich, ni, sam, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, kyu, ju. Come here. All right. Okay. If you're doing that right, the outsides of your support leg should feel it more than your kicking leg, which means that, I'm going to cheat here, as you're picking up your kicking leg, you are pushing with the outside of your support leg to make sure your torso stays in frame. If you don't and just stand up on it, that's an easy stance. So I should feel like I'm pushing, like when we're doing this for Teki Shodan. I'm pushing with the outside of my leg. Okay. So now we get to use the door frame. Okay. So any questions about that part so far? You have a question, unmute yourself, hit the space bar to push to talk. So any questions about that torso posture while doing Miyagiri from Kibarashi? Okay, good. So next drill. One of the things I absolutely hate is when people do Miyagiri like this. Just kind of soccer kick their leg out. Miyagiri is a chamber, a kick, and down. Okay, which means that your foot should come high off the floor right away. Okay. In addition to that, you're pushing off your leg. So you're compressing your chest and pushing off your leg. So lots of things going on here, lots of fighting pressures. So here's how I'm going to do it now. This camera is directly in line with this beam. Okay, so right now I should be directly in the middle of the camera. What I'm going to do is go to Kibidashi. I'm going to put my what you see is my right hip right against this line. So I'm more in the doorway than out. Okay. To make sure my leg does the right posture, I'm going to get close to this. Not my knee against the wall, but close enough where I can kick outside the door frame. Now, I do not want to be step into the door out of the way. I want to peek around the door for as little time as possible. Okay, so every time with your left leg, or in this case, your right leg, kicking around. So whichever leg was fine. So do the easiest one where you can stand with half your body behind the door frame, and I'll show you how to do the other leg here in a moment. So again, the kicking leg is the hip of that kicking leg is right against, in line with the door frame. So in this case, if I'm in front of the door frame, my left leg kicking is right on this red line. Okay? So you should be peeking around the door. You still should be able to see the camera. Don't do this where you can't see the camera at all. Okay, so other way. Make sure your one hip, the kicking leg hip, is close to the door frame. Okay? So with that kicking leg, each time, I'm gonna hold this so you see. You want to kick, come back, and down without shifting your weight too much. So make sure you tuck your knee, otherwise you're gonna bring your toes right into the wall. So tuck your knee, go in there. Remember, try not to do this without holding the door. Okay, again, 10 with the leg that's hidden by the door frame. Okay, ready? Ich, knee, some, she, go. Same leg, Sergey, each time, same leg. Roku, Sichi, Hachi, Q, Ju, more, itch, knee, snap it, some, she, go, Roku, Sichi, Hachi, Q, Ju, Yame, relax. So the outside muscles, your abductors, the ones that pull your leg on wash care, those are the ones you should feel right now. You kind of tense those as you're pulling your leg up. Okay. You feel a new muscle, that's good. That means you're learning how to do a technique with more muscles than you were doing before. Any questions about that so far? Okay. Next one. Okay, so ideally, if you're on one side of the door, you can move to the other side of the door. That may not work. So instead, turn 90 degrees where you're facing the door frame. In this case, I was kicking with that leg on my patch side, which is my left, but looks like your right. Now I want to kick my other side, my non-patch side. So in other words, I'm going to put the kicking leg hip in line with this door frame. So right now, I'm more away from the camera than in. I know you can't see the angle, but my right hip is directly against here. So that's straight in line. My hip, my belt knot is on the other side of the door. Okay, so you want to put your kicking leg hip in line with the door frame. So the door frame will bisect your kicking leg hip. Again, I'm not here, not against it. I'm a comfortable distance so that I can chamber my knee without banging my knee against this. But I'm close enough, if I try to drag my foot, I'll kick the door frame. Okay, so this will guarantee that you are tucking your leg. Okay, so again, not a speed drill, but obviously you have to move your foot fast or else you're gonna fall down. You ready? So the other leg from before, kicking my Gary. Ich, knee, some, she, go, Roku. Try to keep your head in the frame, Sichi, Hachi, Q, Ju, Ich, knee, push on that support leg, some, push on the support leg, she, go, Roku, Sichi, Hachi, Yame. All right. So when you're doing Mayagiri, you're not just using your quadricep. The quadriceps is the one that pulls your knee open, or your hamstring, which pulls your knee closed. You're also using the side of your leg, your abductors on the outside, your adductors on the inside to balance yourself. I mean, obviously, we did that drill where we prevent your knee from moving. You're using those same muscles. But kicking here, you're using that in the supporting leg, as well as because we're chambering out of kibarashi. I have to bring my leg center first. I can't just kick from the side. Okay, so we're focusing on the muscles which do the lateral motions and kicking for stabilization. Okay, next thing. The one kick which I have probably, if you ever tested with me and you see me in a panel, the one thing I hate the most is people who can't distinguish between kiage and kikome. The funny part is kiage is a very interesting kick in that it's a snapping kick. You point your knee at the opponent, and then you keep on pointing your knee to your opponent, and at some point in time, your knee points sideways and your heel comes up and goes back the other way. So ideally, your knee should be pointing at the opponent the entire time. As opposed to kikome, you chamber away, and then you push the knee behind the heel and come back to chamber away. So last Tuesday I did a drill where we did on the floor. If you're here for that, then you had the muscular motion. If you weren't, this is going to be a little harder, but we're going to do it with adding gravity this time. So here's how we do it. I'm going to use this wall here, okay? And the motion I want to reinforce is knee directly at my opponent, and the entire time, the ball of my foot is going to point to that wall. So as I'm bringing the foot up, the ball chambers. And here's how I'm going to do that. I'm going to put my face in the door frame, okay? Open my hip, and it's okay. This is what I want. I want you, if you need to hold the door frame for balance, so be it, okay? I have my hip right against the door frame, put my leg on it. So my leg is flush against the door right now. And I'm going to take the ball of my foot and trace it along the wall, come up. Okay, my knee will separate from the wall here because it's shorter than my foot, and then bring it back down by keeping my knee in the wall. So the entire time, the ball of my foot is going to be tracing the wall. Okay? So, any questions about that in terms of, you might have to fight for space, so there's more than one of you. It's harder to do it against a flat wall, so I want you to have the door frame so you don't have to worry about balance. You're just worried about muscle articulation. Okay? So grab that door frame and let's start doing kiage. So again, let's start with the right leg first, or the left leg, whichever one. So just make sure you do the other leg later. Okay? Put your hip directly against the door frame, and now bring your leg up and put your knee so that the entire inside of your leg is pressed against the wall as much as possible. Next step, I want you to turn your heel out so the ball of your foot is almost dragging on the, let me move this here. Okay, that's a slightly better view. Okay. All right, here we go. Close up. So in this case, I'm going to try to push my foot, the ball of the foot, against the wall the entire time. If your hip comes out, so be it. I'm more up at the knee and the foot first, and then we'll focus on the hip. So again, grab the door frame for balance, and let's do them slow. 1 count out, 1 count in. Okay? So, ready? Itch, out, straight knee, knee in, keep the toe against the wall. Some out, she in. If you notice, your hips kind of wrapping around the door frame. Go out, roku in. Okay. Sichi out, hachi in. Q out, ju in. So this is more of a stretching drill. Okay. Some people, the flexibility is in the front. Some people, the flexibility is in the lower back. Okay. So asking someone just to be flexible and do a move correctly doesn't work. You have to provide muscle reinforcement or restraints to make sure that you're on the right flight path. If you practice the wrong technique, it will just get more and more wrong over time. Move this. Okay. Now let's do the same thing, but this time I want you to focus less so on where your toe is and more so where the hip that's kicking, where that is. So this is what you do not want. You do not want, as you're kicking, your hip goes away from the door. That's easy. That's Miyagi. Okay, and that's why a lot of people do Miyagi. They start here and they pull their hip away and their toes point up and they end up doing Miyagi. What I want you to do, if you need to, put your hand behind your belt and push it into the wall as your leg's going out. You know, remind yourself of what muscles you need to gain flexibility or strength with to keep your hip in the right position. Okay, so again, I want you to focus more on what your kicking hip is right above your hip, basically from hip to lower rib cage. Right around there, you'll figure out what if you're in the same place. Again, you don't want to peel away from the wall, you want to push in. So again, watching in, keeping my hip in the entire time. I do not want to do this where I kick and let my hip roll out, okay, hence my torso. So I want you to wrap this door frame as much as possible, okay? So let's get up. Again, same leg as before. Focus on what the hip's doing, okay? If your foot comes off the wall, that's no big deal. I want you to focus on the hip. Again, 2 counts, 1 up, 1 down. Ich, ni, sam, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, kyu, ju, yame. Next. Again, you should feel some new muscles in your back. Okay. I'm going to shift over to this wall for the other one. Okay, so same thing. Unfortunately, I have a door hinge, so I'm a little more out than before. Again, other leg. Okay, so first I want you to focus on tracing your foot, and then we'll focus on tracing, making sure your hips in the right place. So other leg, figure out how you're going to match up on a door frame, you know, so that you can actually put your other leg knee against the wall. Again, wrapping your hip against the door, against the threshold, and 1 knee up. Okay, so 2 counts, 1 up, 1 down. Okay, focus on the ball of the foot. Ready? Ich, ni, sam, shi, go, roku. If you're not as flexible, kick lower. Shichi, hachi, kyu, ju, yame. Done. Roll your hips around, make sure they stay loose. We're doing a lot of flexing of those muscles that your hip used to articulate. So make sure you find what those muscles are and you make sure they get put to work. Okay. Now again, the second part is not necessarily what the ball of your foot does as much as what your hip does against the wall. Making sure it stays close to the wall. You don't want to let your hip come away and it turns into a Miyagi. Okay? So again, if you need to, push yourself into the wall. I'm going to grab the top of my door here because I don't really have a door frame to grab on. Again, I'm focusing more now on what your hip and torso are doing than the ball of your foot. Okay? Ready? 1 count up, 1 count down. Ich, ni, sam, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, kyu, ju, yame. All right. Might need to do more open hip stretches, make sure hips are in place. Any questions about the Kage articulation? Okay, no questions, that means we can do it correctly. So again, let me move the camera back here. Close enough. So, if you have the right articulation, that means if there's something in the way, you should be able to kick without worrying about slamming your knee into this. So, if you don't feel as confident, put your hip close to the door threshold. If you feel more confident, step away from it, because that means there's more of a chance your foot striking the door frame. Okay, again, you're not behind the door frame, you're halfway. This camera is lined up along this red line, so that's the door frame. So what you're trying to do is do Kage, remember sideways, so I'm Yoko to you guys right now. This is my right hand, this is my left hand. And I'm going to point my toes to that wall, and my heel comes up. Okay, so again, one kick, each count. Remember, you're not facing into the door frame, you're facing 90 degrees from the door frame, okay? So whichever leg points to the door frame, let's kick with that one first. Gary, you know I need to move back a little, move away from the camera, and now take half a step forward, Gary. Yep, there you go. Now let's test your left knee, make sure it works. Okay, ready? Slow, okay? Remember, point your knee first. Don't point your knee sideways and come up. That's Kikome. We're doing Kage. Okay, slow. Ready? Ich, ni, sam, shi, go, roku. If you need a point of reference, focus on my knee. Sichi, hachi. Once my knee comes toward the camera, it stays in that angle. Q, Ju. This won't be as good of an angle, but let's do the other leg. So if you can find the other door frame, same thing. Slow. Okay. Remember, we're focusing on articulation. I want to bring my knee up, foot out, hip back. Don't let your knee wobble around. Okay? If you need to hold the door frame, so be it. Okay. That's okay. Ready? 10 counts. Slow. Ich, ni, sam, shi, yo, roku, sichi, hachi, Q, Ju. Speed. Ich, ni, sam, shi, yo, roku, suchi, hachi, Q, Ju. Other leg. Ich, ni, sam, shi, ro, roku, shichi, hachi, Q, Ju. Now relax. Okay. Next one. What is the other Kage-like kick besides Maegiri and Yokogiri Kage? What's the other one with the knee snaps?
Mikazuki Gary.
That's true. Mikazuki Gary is weird because the knee points forward and it kind of rolls around. Personally, I don't like that one because it hurts my. What's another one? Alex, say it.
Mawashigiri.
There you go, Mawashigiri. Okay. So Mawashigiri is interesting because, Maegiri is simple. Your torso kind of stays here, your leg flicks out, and for Kage, your torso stays here and your leg kicks out. Mawashigiri, this is what happens. All this stuff happens in the torso. You do not want that to happen. So what we're going to do is focus on getting the torso to actually sit on top of the supporting leg. Okay. And unfortunately, without support, it becomes very hard. So I remember a few classes ago where we did this thing where we brought our leg over and came down. I noticed a lot of people were doing this thing where they're kind of dipping their head around and moving around. So we're going to take that out of the equation to get your balance. So here, I'm going to give you this to hold on to. Okay. So for Mawashigiri, this red line right here is where my foot is. So if I swing my leg around, watch where my torso does inside this door frame. Generally stays inside there. I keep my head up. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm kicking around. I'm stacking my hips and curving my spine sideways, kicking, and then coming back down. What I do not do is this, where my body leaves the door frame. Okay. The moment you do that, you're taking weight away from the kick. So what you're doing when you do that is my leg goes this way, my body goes that way. I want to push my weight this way and keep my weight on top of my supporting leg and anchor it. So here's how we're going to do that. I'm going to get in stance. I'm going to put my foot kind of halfway to the door frame. So my toes are visible here, and my middle toe is on the door frame. Okay. And back up a little bit. I don't want to put your knee on the door frame because then you're banging. Grab this door frame. Come up from Mawashigiri. Keep my back straight, keep my back straight, keep my back straight. Kick so that my belt points down the hallway. Not here, where my belt's pointing to you. Completely sideways. Snap, and then down. If you notice, I did not touch the door frame. So again, if I'm supporting here, coming up, twisting my hip around, kicking, then coming back to the front. Okay? So the leg that's kicking is going to be the one on the far side of the door frame. So if I have my hands free, it looks like this. Okay? So I keep my shoulder in line with this. If you need to, put your chest up against the door frame and try to hold yourself straight, and then come back down. Okay? So again, the knee that's closest to the door frame does not move. The one that kicks is in the open side of the door frame. So in this case, I'll be mirrored to you guys. This is my left over here, and the other way, that's my right. Okay? So again, toes about touching the door frame, not behind the door frame, not inside it. We're kind of directly on it. And when you kick, I want you to keep your chest in line with the door frame. Okay, so let's do 2 counts. First count, leg up, chest against the door frame. All right, 3 counts. First count, leg up, chest against the door frame. Second count, leg extended, and then try to point your belt into the door frame. Third count, down. Okay, so let's go back. 3 counts, and hold the door frame. Use that to figure out what muscles you need to learn. I don't care if it's 2 hands or what. Okay, ready? Itch, up. Posture straight. Knee, kick. Posture straight as possible. Thumb down. Okay. Step forward through the doorway each time. So each time you're going through the doorway. Ready? And back. Itch, up. Knee, kick. 3, forward. Good. So when you step forward, make sure your shoulder does not clip the door frame. That means you're holding your posture. Itch. Knee. Thumb. Let me move this camera a little closer. Itch. Knee. Point the belt down the doorway. Thumb down. Make sure you turn your hip. Turn your hip into the kick. Don't shortchange your hip and leave your hip behind you. Turn your belt all the way past the door frame. Again, 3 counts. Itch. Knee. Thumb. Back. Itch. Knee. Thumb. Back. 1 count slowly. Make sure you accentuate where your torso is the entire time. Itch. Back. Knee. And back. Thumb. She. Mike, try to keep your torso straighter on the counter. Almost push up on the counter. Roll. Roku. Shichi. Hachi. Q. Remember, make sure you're high sharp for the kick. Ju. And okay. So now we're going to add a little more dynamic to it. In addition to holding your torso for the first part against the door frame, I want you to be able to hold it as you step down, so you're not doing this. Waving here. I don't want you to do that. So what we're going to do now is add a yakuzuki. So the leg that kicks and the hand that punches are opposite sides. So I should not hit this door frame. If I don't hit the door frame, that means my torso has been up the entire time. If I lean, this happens. I catch myself in the door frame. So keep your torso up, and your yakuzuki will not clip the door frame. This is not a speed drill. This is an articulation drill. Okay, we're trying to find the right movements. Hold the door frame with your kicking leg if you need. So if you kick, in this case, this is my left leg. I'm holding my left hand coming up, and then I'll do yakuzuki. If you need to hold it, just don't hold it with your punching hand, and it gets all sorts of confusing. Okay, so again, 3 counts, and then we'll move on to 1 count real quick. So ready? Ich, ni, sam. Back. Ich, ni, sam. Ich, ni, sam. Okay. 1 count, slowly. Ich, ni, sam. Good, Sergey. She. Go. Turn your hip. Make sure your hip turns sideways. Make that huge rotation when you land yakuzuki. Sich. Hachi. Q. Ju. How your hips feel? You should have that feeling when you're coming up. You're really twisting on your supporting leg, not just at the ankle, also around the hip. Okay. Other leg. So since obviously I can't use this side of the door, I'm going to go this way. What I'm going to do is put my belt behind me. You can't see that. So here. So in other words, you should see my belt knot when I kick. If you don't see my belt knot, that means I'm not turning my hip out. So ideally, by the time I kick, you see my belt knot pointing down the hallway and yakuzuki. Okay? So again, let's take it slow first. Kicking with your other leg. So the leg that you were just kicking with, that's going to be a supporting leg. Obviously, I can't get much closer to my door frame because I have a door here. But again, put your toes midway to the door frame. Don't put your knee against the door frame, though. Then you won't have time to move. And again, kicking with your other leg. Okay, let's do slow with count first. First count up, second count kick, third count down. No punch. Ready? Ich, knee, turn your hip, sam. Ich, knee, sam. Okay. And support yourself. It's more important to get your torso straight now so we can do it without balance later. Ich, knee, torso up, sam. Remember, keeping your torso up. Ich, knee, sam. Ich, knee, sam. Okay. 1 count with the punch. Okay. Support yourself with your kicking hand if you need. Ready? Itch. Knee. Some. She. Go. Roku. Shichi. Hachi. Keep your torso straight, Chris. Q. Ju. Okay. A little bit faster now. Remember, if you bend, you're going to hit your hand into the door frame. Keep your torso up. Okay. And make sure you turn your hip. Okay. 3/4 speed. Same leg. Ready? Itch. And we're stepping into Yakuzugi. Knee. Gary, move a little further back so you actually start behind the frame. Some. She. Go. Good, Mike. Good, Mike. Hook. Sitch. Hatch. Q. Ju. Some. Other leg, the first leg you started on. Again, toes midway down, not behind, not inside, midway down the door frame. Okay, remember, keep your posture straight. Okay, 3/4 speed. Kick, punch. Ready? Itch. Knee. Some. She. Closer, Gary. Get closer to the door. Go. Yeah, there you go, Gary. Roku. Closer to the door frame, Armando. You should have your toes closer to it. Sichi. Yeah, there you go, Armando. Now you're working your torso. Hachi. Q. Ju. And all right. So a quick overview. So we worked on a lot of torso movement today, making sure our torso is in the right space. So for Maya Gary, make sure you don't step all the way in, but use your supporting leg to make sure that your weight stays on it. For Keiage, using the wall itself as a guidance for where your knee and your ball of the foot, and eventually your hip goes so that you can kick straight for Keiage rather than turning into Maya Gary. And 3 from Washigari, keeping your torso straight and not bending like that. Keeping up and down and keeping your weight on top of your supporting leg. That's important when you're throwing weight with your leg. You don't want to take your weight away from your opponent. You want to push your weight into your opponent. Okay? So, nice thing about the door frame, pretty rigid part of the house, almost foundational. So it's great to stretch on. So let's cool down to stretch. So first stretch, just reach up. Don't pull on the frame itself. The crowning sometimes comes off, and just try to push your head in front of your shoulders. Push off your toes. Just stretch your upper back. Okay, and the other one in the front, kind of sit back on it, let it pull your armpits open. Next, put your palm against the door frame about shoulder height and push your shoulder into it. Okay? Push off the leg that's closest to the door. And try to work the pectorals, open them up. Okay. Now put your hand high and do the same thing. It should work a little lower. Again, trying to pull your arm up and out. Pushing with the leg that's close to the door. Okay. Arm down. Okay. This one, switch your legs. Okay. So this one, you're trying to twist out to the door. This should work up here and pinch right below your, right behind your armpit. Try to twist your body away from the door. Okay. Other side. Shoulder height. Push past. Again, pushing with the leg that's closest to the door. Okay. Try to open your pectorals in front and pinch your trapezius in the back. Hand high. Then try to drag your armpit into the door frame. So. Stretching your ptosis, which is right underneath your armpit, down to your lower ribs, on the side of your body. It's a nice, flat, long muscle. Now, arm straight down. Switch your feet. Okay. Push off your leg that's farthest away from the door and try to twist your body away from the door frame. Okay. Put your shoulder right on the door frame. You'll actually try to pull your shoulder open. Two legs, so facing the door frame. Let me back this up so you can see. Okay. This one, put the ball of the foot against the frame and try to keep a leg straight and push your knee to the wall, stretching your Achilles. So the back side of your leg. Okay. Now this is a large tendon, so don't push it too hard. And don't bounce, slowly stretch. Yeah. Switch. Again, ball the foot off the ground, heel into the floor. And try to push your leg straight, push your hip with a straight leg into the wall. Next one. On the ball of your foot, okay, and try to push it down. If you can get it down, go further out. Try to push off the wall and push down. Same muscle, but now you're also working your upper leg. Okay. If you can put your heel down, go further back. Okay, working the lower leg and the upper leg here. Switch. Oh. Push. Next one, lower back. So you won't be able to fit in the door frame with this one. But put your hands on the door frame and try to push your chest down. Let your arms go above your head. You should feel this in your upper back. Remember, try to push your belly button down. Don't let your back arch up. Try to make it point down. Try to make a bowl. Next one. This one, be careful with. Okay. You're going to put your head down and put your shoulder into there, and just lightly push. Okay. If you need to, put your feet away. Okay. Again, be careful with this one. You're upside down. You get a little weird. Okay. You're trying to stretch your middle back now. Okay. Don't push in your shoulder hard as much as allow yourself to bend and stretch. Feet flat. Yummy. All right. Okay. So there, now you can use the door frame to check your maigiri, check your kayage, check your mawashigiri, even finish stretching with. So just be careful. When you pull in the door frame up here, sometimes the molding will come off, so don't put too much weight on that. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and bow out. So, 시작. 막소. 막소 야매. 도저콘. 一つ人間関数のそのこと。一つ誠のミショ思うこと。一つどれだけの聖書を養うこと。一つ礼儀を思うこと。一つ欠勤を増しもうこと。Seek perfection of character. Be faithful. Endeavor. Respect others. Refrain from violent behavior. 正味に。はい。OK。